There are two possible ways of benefiting by being a Sasol Inzalo shareholder.
Firstly, by earning a dividend on each share we own.
Or by selling our shares. But there's a risk that we could lose money if the share price is down.
Before selling your shares, get advice from your broker.
Sasol Limited, Sasol Inzalo and Computershare can't give us or you any advice.
Haven't we said that before?
Yes, we have, but it's good to remind ourselves.
Something else we should know.
Even though we are shareholders, there is no guarantee that Sasol or any company for that matter will pay a dividend.
The board of directors decide whether a dividend should be paid or not.
It depends if the company has done well or not, if it has sufficient cash to pay a dividend.
And having sufficient cash means that the company has first paid all its debts, what it owes and other expenses.
And it's very important to know that a company is not allowed to pay a dividend if it can't pay what it owes.
And another thing?
What now?
Well, after paying a dividend, the company can't leave itself short of cash in order to pay for its expenses. That would be like buying a car with spare cash and then finding you can't pay your rent at the end of the month.
Not a smart move.
Brings us to assets and liabilities, which are?
Same as ours. Our assets are the value of what we own and the cash we have in the bank. Liabilities are what we owe, just like a company. If you owe more than you have, then you are in big trouble.
The technical term is insolvent.
I think I've got that. Next question. How will we know if a dividend has been paid?
When the financial results are published, you will also receive a dividend statement from Computershare if a dividend has been declared.
This statement will show how much money has been paid into your bank account.
That is why it is very important for you to keep your banking details up to date, and if there have been any changes, make sure you've kept Computershare informed so they pay the money into the correct account.
Also, make sure they have your correct address. If you move, tell them so you'll receive any notifications.
Remember, neither Sasol Limited or Sasol Inzalo or Computershare can give you financial advice, but it might be a good idea to talk to your broker. Sasol Inzalo declared its first dividend in 2014, and this was paid to shareholders on the 30th of April that year.
We're going to use these dividend payments to show you how dividends are calculated.
Let's take a look at the debt, cost, portion of the Sasol Inzalo transaction.
This is very important because, as we said earlier on, repayment of debt, money owing, is one of the factors that will influence whether a dividend can be paid or not.
You ask a bank to lend you money to buy a house or a car. They decide that you're a good credit risk, so they give you the money.
Now you have to agree to pay back the money over a specific period of time. In the case of a car, 2, 3, 4 or 5 years. A house can be as long as 25 years. But remember, they're going to charge interest on that loan.
The interest is added to the loan on a monthly basis, less the amount you've paid that month.
In exactly the same way that Sasol Inzalo Public Funding borrowed money from the banks and Sasol, the loan must be paid back within 10 years.
I think we should explain the proportion of debt per share.
Good idea. Let's use the minimum number of shares that we bought in 2008.
That was a minimum of 25 shares. We'll use the dividend that Sasol Limited declared this year to calculate what the repayment is on the debt. The money we borrowed is on the debt per share.
I remember we were invited to buy 25 shares, which were valued at 366 rands per share, but we only had to pay 18 rands 30 per share.
So take away the 18 rands 30 we paid from the 366 rand value per share and we end up with
347 rands 70 per share. This difference is what was borrowed to fund the loan. So where does that leave us?
Sasol Inzalo Public Funding received dividends from Sasol Limited that came to 24 rands 20 per share. But running costs including taxes and interest charges have to be taken into account.
This amounted to 22 rand 99 cents per share before all other obligations had to be met, and the final balance paid to us came to 1 rand per share.
Now this all means that we, owning 25 shares, got a dividend of 25 rand. For every share you own, you get 1 rand per share.
What Sasol Inzalo has been doing for the past 6 years is reducing the money owing to the banks, and they're going to continue doing this for the remainder of the 10-year period.
To make sure all shareholders know exactly what the company is doing and how our shares are performing, annual reports are sent out. This keeps us fully informed and empowers us as shareholders to exercise our rights.